I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. Doesn't matter what your nationalities may be. Doesn't matter whether you like me or not. I greet all of you all with the same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Today happened to be November the 23rd, 2019. It's Saturday, time being about 12 o'clock p.m. or noon. I'm here in Bloomfield, Missouri at the Missouri Veteran Cemetery here in Bloomfield, where one of my dad's younger brothers, Ernest Ivy Sr., is buried. He's a career war veteran. I got plenty of knowledge from him. Since I've been to visit the rest of the cemeteries with their stepmother, their sister, their brother-in-law, and their dad in Mound City Memorial Cemetery in Mound City, Illinois, or Mounds, Illinois. I've been to the cemetery in Bell City, Missouri, where my cousin Larry Wallace was killed in the Vietnam War. So I'm making my rounds to pay my respects and to let my uncle's wife, his grandchildren's, great-grandchildren's, great-great-grandchildren's, if you have any, to let them see that we are still paying our respects down here in Missouri. Even though that some of them can't make it down here because it's a ways. Some of them live in Chicago, some live in Florida. But let me make my way on down to it. Like I said, my uncle gave me a lot of knowledge. I had a lot of his ways when it come to standing up for people's rights. He always told me with all the things that I went through, he said, you could be dead and gone, but God has a purpose for you. No matter what other people say, or no matter how other people treat you, you still do God's work. But you do it in a manner that you know God and godly people will respect. Let me go out here to his grave site here. We called him Uncle Pete. We called him Uncle Pete. May he rest in peace. I thank God for my family members taking part in these wars, Korean War, Vietnam War, the World War II. That's my uncle there. He was a corporal. A corporal in the United States Army, to the best of my knowledge, is a person that takes on a lot of responsibility, but most time they don't get to pay for it. My uncle was a leader by birth. Most of Ivy's, if not all, are. Some people can't accept it. But sometimes corporals can be laterally or promoted to sergeant, but most times they give people the rank of corporal instead of private, like I said, because they give them a lot of responsibility. Uncle Pete or Uncle Ernest Ivy, we thank you for your service. We thank God for men and women like you that was drafted in these military wars. Some of them probably shouldn't have been fighting, but you fought anyway. I salute all of these military veterans, women and men out here that fought for justice for all. And I know when they fought, they didn't fight to see us having racism. A lot of people say I talk about racism a lot. I talk about it because it's still alive and well in the United States, in most other countries. It's something about the dark-skinned man that some people just feel that we shouldn't be treated like any other human being. But I salute all of you military veterans. And I'm going to say this here to all our family members. Keep documentation of our family in all capacities that they've been in. You see, some people don't honor all military veterans. I seen a thing in Charleston, Missouri that they had in the library. To each his own, they was honoring veterans, and it was on the front page of a newspaper, local newspaper in Charleston, Missouri. A place that I criticize heavily, but I'm not really criticizing it now. But I didn't see no black veterans. My dad, a World War II veteran. He probably one of the only black World War II veterans in Charleston, if it's any more. It may be some more. Maybe one of the only World War II veterans in Charleston left. But if you're going to honor veterans in a little town like Charleston, Missouri, population being 5,947, or if we go with the census in 2017, 5,534, and you got all the veterans registered, you should send letters to the veterans' homes. Charleston ain't a hop, skip, and a jump in the whole town. Send letters to the homes of the veterans and said we celebrating something for Veterans Day in the library in Charleston, Missouri. And at least see if people want to come, because black leaders in Charleston, Missouri, they don't do this here to honor. And I give it to the white people, they honor theirs. I mean, veterans should be honoring veterans, period. But, you know, when you got separation, which can't nobody say is not, then blacks should at least try to celebrate theirs. But I honor mine. When I go honor mine, I honor all the rest of them that fought. But I'm going to get on up out of here. I know a lot of people don't like what I say, but I don't say things for people to like it. I say things to let people know I got a freedom of speech, and I do my best not to be disrespectful. Sometimes I know I get aggressive when I talk, but that ain't my intentions. But I'm going to leave, and I'm going to continue to think what my uncle always told me. He said, son, he said, you are Ivy. And Ivies by birth are leaders. And he said, not only are you an Ivy, but you a great leader. And you are a living testimony. You could have been dead with all the situations you've been in. You could be doing life in prison, but God got something for you. And I'm going to take heed to that, because I honor my uncle.
I believe
said, I'm a living testimony, and I could have been dead and gone, but the Lord let me live on. You see, I'm looking at all these people in this cemetery. They fought, some of them fought and died for us to have freedom and to be safe in this country. Not to be discriminated against, not to be looked upon by the color of our skin, but to be looked up on as a human being. Y'all think about that. Family, y'all take our history and don't take it lightly, y'all. A lot of our family fought and died in these wars. My dad just told me about a month or two ago about two of his uncles. His dad, my granddad, Barry B. Ivy, who was a sharecropper. He grew cotton in the Charleston, Missouri area near East Prairie. 40 acres. Lived on a person by the name of Brown's Farm. Raised all 10 of his children. My dad told me about his dad, two brothers. One of them was named after my uncle that I'm here at the cemetery at, Ernest Ivy. And his other brother named Cleophas Ivy. Both of them fought in the wars. I'm assuming it would be World War I. Our family got a history. So when I talk up against racism in Charleston or any place else, I have a right to. Some of my family died. Some of my family fought in these wars and still was discriminated against by our own army. If it was it's a discrimination now, you knew how it was back in the 40s or the 1900s. Stop this racism. Stop this violence. Stop this injustice against people that's dark, people of color. Ain't no human being on the face of this earth better than another. If you got that much power, tell the sun to stop shining in the daytime. Tell the night to cease. You can't. Peace be still.